It's people that's counting on me. I cannot eat from the tree. I'm Adam to Z. Z is my Eve. Watch how we getting it. Watch how we flipping it. Watch how we living it. Watch how we winning it. Watch. Yeah. Watch. Yeah. Watch. Yeah.
All I need is God and the money, yeah. All I need is my family and the money, yeah. All I need is my lady and the money, yeah. I need the first three. Don't forget the money, yeah.
What's up, everybody?
Hey.
Welcome to another episode of the Forever Love Podcast. My name is Artis.
And I'm Zadoria.
And we are the Andersons.
He still did it, y'all. He said he wasn't going to do it.
Listen, we are back with another episode. We are ready for a dope episode. And listen, this is Should I Stay? Should I Go? I don't know. Part two. The unmarried edition.
Okay.
Where we're going to be talking to all of the unmarried people.
Yeah, y'all get ready.
Yeah. Get ready. Listen, we got a dope guest that's going to be on with us for this episode. Mm-hmm. And I'm about to bring her to the stage right now. Hey. I want everybody to welcome in Promise.
Hey.
What's up, brother? How you doing today?
I'm well. How y'all doing?
Doing well.
Always good. Welcome to the Forever Love Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. This is gonna be a good convo.
Yes, I'm excited for you.
It's definitely gonna be a good convo. Really last week or a couple weeks ago when we was doing the first episode, the first installment of this series, I said, yo, we got to get Promise on here one of these episodes because you were the one that came out and supported us, was it a year ago or 2 years ago?
It had to have been at least a year ago. Yes, and that was a great event.
Right,
that was a great event.
And you gave some great insights, some great perspectives. So I said, yo, we got the podcast going now, so we got to bring Promise back in official capacity. So we appreciate you being on here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So listen, let's get into it. We are going to do our check-in, but before I do our check-in, I do want to ask this question. Promise, what do you do for a living?
I am a entrepreneurial coach.
Dope. All right, and what is your relationship status?
I'm single, dating.
Okay, and do you desire to be married one day?
Absolutely, yes.
All right, it's gonna be a good conversation.
Oh, yes, let's get it.
All right, so listen, Z.
Yes.
Time to do our check-in with each other.
All right.
How you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, feeling great.
How's your week going so far?
It's going good.
It's only the second day of the week, so how's your week going?
It is.
Mm-hmm. Sunday is the first day of the week.
Okay.
We always forget that.
Yes.
Yeah. It feels like Monday's.
Monday is the work week, though.
Right.
So I'm doing good because I'm actually off. So yeah, not too bad. Not too.
How are you doing emotionally?
Emotionally, you know what? I'm stable.
Mm-hmm. I got a little tickling in my throat. I ate some water.
Emotionally, I'm stable. I feel I'm in a happy place. I'm excited because I'm launching some things with these teen girls on Saturday.
Don't give it away yet. Don't give it away yet. All right, we'll give away the secrets. Yeah,
But yeah, so just waiting. Yeah.
How you doing mentally?
Mentally, good. I can say that.
Doing good.
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah.
Love to hear it.
I didn't actually yet.
Oh yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm always good.
Yeah, I know you're always good. But how are you doing emotionally?
I am doing very well, actually.
Okay.
We had a little rocky last couple of days. With and Promise, just let you know, we coach a lot of marriages, a lot of relationships, and one of the marriages that are close to us is a little rocky. This weekend, and we was like, oh man, we got to get into the chamber and work some magic. But the week it turned out good. They're good now, and so I was a little mentally. I was like thinking about that the last couple of days a lot because, I know they love each other, and I knew that they needed to just work through this issue.
Right.
That was really major, but they worked through it, and everything else I'm good, man. Business is good. Work is good. I ain't got no complaints.
You didn't go to the gym this morning, so how you feel about that?
Well, yeah, I had an unexpected meeting that I had to attend to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might go after the podcast today.
Oh yeah?
Or later today.
Got my sweater in. That's probably why I'm still sweating now.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Especially with that hot sweater on.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 I thought you was gonna
Cute, sis.
I did cut it off though. I cut
you did?
Yeah,
Oh,
I cut
okay.
it off. Yeah. So Promise.
Yes.
How are you doing? How are you mentally? How are you?
I am great. I'm so good. Mentally, I'm good. I do therapy every week, church. So compared to how the previous years have been for me,
Mhm.
I'm so good.
Oh,
Grateful.
good. That's good.
What do you think has been one of the biggest changes over the last couple of years as to now that you could contribute to being in such a good place?
Back to what I said, church and therapy. I've been in therapy for a full year now, and I found a church home about 6 months. And I feel like before that, I would only go to church for Easter and Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And Mother's Day,
You know, and really it was just like a feeling that I didn't enjoy when I would go to church, and a separation with my family being Jehovah's Witness and Christian. So it was hard for me to find my place with the religion. So just supporting my best friend who's a mother. Mother's Day, I went to her church and I fell in love, and I just felt so good, and it realigned my relationship with God in a different way, because I'm thinking I'm good. You know, I pray, I got my own church here, but to go outside and hear a good word that constantly resonates, that, and I got lucky with my therapist, who she's a Sagittarius like me. We have some similarities.
Mhm.
So a Black woman.
Awesome.
So being in church and therapy, I could say for the first time in my life, I have my mother and my father, a great relationship with them both at the same time.
Awesome.
That's
Awesome.
dope.
So I'm full. I feel very full.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
So
Only thing missing is a husband.
Hey, but with or without it, I'm good.
I know.
But
I'm messing with you.
I'm admiring you guys' relationship, the accountability. Like, you ain't go to the gym, which you probably know probably affects his a day. Like, if
Yeah.
he don't go, he's probably different. And then with some accountabilities, like we need that partner, and don't nobody else care unless they know your future determines their future.
Right.
Other than that, you don't really get that type of energy. So yes,
Yeah.
it's definitely gonna help level up things.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I had to message you a little bit. I like to do that, with my single community, but it's a beautiful thing. I think what you represent is the reality, because you know how people get, no matter how successful you are, how accomplished you are, they're gonna find the one thing you might not have yet, and they're gonna harp on that. So if you're single, when you get married, or if you're married, when you have kids, or if you're married with kids, so when you get another job, you gonna start. It's like, would you just be quiet? Let me be.
My life.
People are always looking for the thing you don't have, or the thing you don't have yet, as a form of validation. But I think you represent that. Hey, you're fully validated in where God has you right now, and that's what matters.
Because I done been there and done it. I rushed it. I was engaged for 4 years. Who's engaged for 4 years?
Wow.
But it's like your spirit knows. So when we get into the topic of should you stay or should you go, what is your spirit telling you to do? And even though I stayed in the relationship, I knew for a fact my spirit was not telling me to get married right then. But because from the outside looking in, the relationship looks so perfect. I'm trying to keep this, perfect on paper image together.
Yeah.
So when I'm finally walking away from that, being here, I will not rush into anything just because it looks good. I actually want to feel good. And I'm to a place to where you can't buy my love, because I did that too. I did that too. You can't just throw money at a situation and buy gifts and think, I can continue to be a narcissist because I'm just going to buy you what you want and you'll forget about it and be okay. Like, no.
You dropping bars and gems already. Wait a minute.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Rewind.
Okay.
Rewind. Pause. Let's get to the question of the day, and then we coming right back to you because you on fire right now. Listen, our audience, they love the question of the day. So let's get to the question of the day, and then we coming right back to the main topic. Hold that thought.
Yes.
I shall digress.
I like that. All right, question of the day. Y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
And promise you feel free to answer as well, right? Any of us can answer. So they said, we have been together for 3.5 years and have one child. I want to get married, but he isn't ready. I don't trust him anymore either, and don't know if I should stay in the relationship. What should I do? All right, I'm gonna say it one more time. They said she said they've been together for 3.5 years. They have one child. She wants to get married. He isn't ready. She's lost trust in him, and she doesn't know if she should stay in a relationship. What should she do? I'll let the ladies go. Some women advice.
Do you guys have children?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. I don't have kids, and I feel like that's the toughest part.
Yeah.
I was so fortunate to walk away from a relationship with no kids, so I just cannot imagine. Z, you want to go?
Yeah, I listen. When I think about it, but see, this is the question that a lot of people look at. They make the child as the thing that's going to keep them in the relationship. The number one thing you just said, you don't trust this man. So why would you want to marry? How can you marry someone that you don't trust? That's number one. Number two, when I look at the situation, you think about, if you don't trust your head, the one that's supposed to take care of your household, the one that that is supposed to be the head of you, like, how are you going to be in a marriage? How is it going to work? Now, there's other options for you, like you said, couples therapy, if that is really a thing. And if he's not ready, a man that's not ready to marry, you can't force it. Like, literally, when a man finds a good thing, when he finds a wife, he finds a good thing. He finds favor, and he gets favor from the Lord. But knowing that, the man knows his wife. When he sees a woman, he knows for a fact that that's going to be his wife. And if he's not willing, or he's, stringing you along and doing all these things, then that ain't the man for you.
Mm-hmm.
I agree 100%. A man knows. Let's ask the man. Did you know, was there more of a getting to know her to where you're like, as I've known her, she's my wife? Or was it like an essence that she had that was like, she's wifey material?
So our situation is a little bit different, right? Just to get some context, right?
Okay.
Me and Z knew each other before we started having romantic feelings for each other.
Yeah.
So we knew each other in a capacity outside of romance. When the light switch flipped, that's when the change in how we saw each other came about. And that's when I had to say, okay, within about a couple of months, I knew. I was like, yeah, she's a wife. And then a couple of months later, I said, well, she's the wife for me. So step one was, is she a wife? Step two was, is she a good wife for me? And both answers were yes. And so I knew within a few months, right? Now, in regards to this young lady situation, I'm gonna give two perspectives, right? The child is irrelevant. Here's why. The child is a byproduct of a decision you made prematurely, meaning when you have sex before marriage, this is just part of the outcome. This is part of the consequence. But that child, though you love that child, it does not become a determining factor in whether or not you should be together.
Yeah.
And that's something people got to understand. The child is never a determining factor if we should be together. What determines whether or not you should be together is a couple of things. Number one, trust, love, respect, like this trifecta. Well, obviously, if you don't trust him, your relationship is going to be rocky. It's going to be turmoil. It's going to be problems. So either you have to go to therapy or counseling, like my wife said, to deal with the trust issues for whatever caused the trust issues. And then once you move past the trust issues and you regain trust, then you have to establish whether or not your relationship is loving enough and there's respect and mutual beneficial components to that relationship, right? But the other side of it is this. If the man is still in the relationship, even though he's not ready for marriage, the question is, why is he not ready?
Yeah.
Right? Just from a man perspective. I'm sitting back and I'm like, why is he not ready after 3 years? 3.5 years, I think, right? One of two things is going on. Either he has no intentions of marrying this woman at all, or there's something about her that makes him hesitant, even though he wants to marry her. And he's afraid that he's going to get stuck in something he can't get out of. Maybe she's irrational. Maybe she is crazy, as some men kind of deal with women who are kind of, crazy, right? She might be overbearing. It could be a few different things that I know specifically that men talk about or deal with, as to they'll say, man, I really love this woman, but man, if I marry her, I don't know, man. And so what I try to hold men accountable to,
a whole nother flip of the script.
Right. Yeah. And that's
person.
Yeah. Remember, we were at the we did an event here in Vegas. This true story.
Juneteenth. Yeah.
We had a booth at the down there near the Grand Central Shops, the marketplace building. We had a booth. This couple came by our booth because all the women were drawn to our booth because it's love and relationships, and all the men were trying to hide and walk past us. Right? They didn't want to come to the booth. The women, the wives and the girlfriend was. I mean, the women were driving, pulling them to it. So this specific couple, you could tell that she was ready to be married and would have liked to be married, but he was hesitant because he was saying, and I'm like, you're saying this in front of your girl. Keep in mind, I promise. He's saying this in front of her. Things like, yeah, when you get married, women switch up. When you get married, women just come out, they just kind of flip the script, like my wife just said, and they act different. So I said, so are you saying she's going to do that? I put him on the spot.
Right.
Are you saying she's going to do that? Well, I'm just saying, like, women that, sir, I'm asking you a specific question. Are you saying that this woman is going to do that? Well, all I'm saying is, man, when you sign that paper, things change. You can't trust people after you sign that paper.
But is she going to do it? Answer the question.
Sir, I know you speak English because you've been responding thus far. Are you saying that she, the girlfriend on your arm, is going to do that? Well, no, I ain't saying that, but so why won't you marry her? Man, things be changing. So that tells me everything I need to know. Exactly. You have no intention of marrying this woman. But the person I'm referring to is the hesitant man because he's just recognized things about this woman that he realizes that, man, I don't know if I want to be tied to this. And for that, if the person is listening, do an inventory on yourself to really and get some accountability, get some coaching, get some counseling. Say, hey, here's some realities about me that might be causing him to not want to be ready to commit to me long term. Also, ask yourself, if there are some things going on within you that you need to fix, make those changes, talk about them, and then reassess the time frame of whether or not you want to be married.
Yeah.
But the other side of it is, if he's just stringing you along, you have to really be honest with yourself. And to be honest, young lady or older lady, you kind of might already know whether or not he's stringing you along. You're just holding on, which is why the topic today matters to you.
Right.
Right. And so my response would be, get some counseling, get some coaching, bring in a third party that you trust to give you some outside perspective, looking in, and really assess the relationship and deal with all of the nuances and the dynamics that could be contributing to the holdup of marriage.
Yeah.
But the child is irrelevant. The child is going to be loved no matter what.
Right.
The child is going to be taken care of no matter what. The child is not the determining factor as to whether or not you should stay. Yeah. You should stay if the relationship has the bones and the foundation that's necessary.
Yeah, because a lot of people get in relationships and then it ruins the child.
Yeah.
So it's like, why even do that to the child? If you can co-parent, if you're better off separated in a separate home, but be great parents to the child, that's all that matters. Like, don't ruin another life because y'all couldn't get it right.
Yeah.
So. And I feel like relationships are really mirrors. So she should ask herself, you know, am I ready to be married? Am I really ready to be married? And all the things that I know he wants and needs, am I ready? Because with the not trusting him going into that, no, you can't marry someone you do not trust. But why don't you trust him? And then is that insecurities? Do I want to hurry up and get married just so I could feel secure and avoid some of these insecurities that I'm dealing with? That every time you go to the store or see something on Instagram, ever talking to a coworker, I'm not shivering in my boots thinking somebody finna take my man. So let me hurry up and just lock him down.
Right.
So it's the reasoning behind it. And then I wanted to ask you, is it for men, is like, do you think like a financial situation or these external factors will hold a man from wanting to get married? Like, say, like, I love you, I would love to get married tomorrow, but I know I can't provide in a way that I want to yet, or do the things that I want to, that would like give you the type of engagement that you really deserve. So if we penny pinching and I gotta put together a stainless steel ring for you, is that what you deserve? Do I even want to do that? Or would I rather just take my time, since our family is already together, take my time and make sure you get what I'm just thinking from a man perspective, what you would deserve. You deserve a nice ring. You deserve a whole dinner when I ask you out, like all the extras. So do you think that would stop a man or just hold him back? And then I'm feeling like if she's coming with pressure, like I'm just trying to get some money up so I can give you what you want, but you in my ear, constantly nagging me, now it's making me even push it back or prolong the situation even more, because now I gotta evaluate you.
Yeah.
So this is a great question. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This is Forever Love Podcast, and we keep it real, right? Yes, some men are held back because they want to provide their woman with the things they feel she deserves.
Right.
But here's the problem, right? The problem is there's nothing wrong with giving the woman what you believe she deserves. But I think the question really becomes, if it's going to hold up what I want, is it something that I really want, that I'm willing to just say, hey, yeah, keep waiting. I'll keep waiting until you give me what I want. I think what happens is women want what they want right now. They don't really consider the next step. Now, what I'm about to say is going to sound somewhat sexist, but I don't intend for it to be sexist.
Okay.
Here's the concern that we're having in our community. Women don't, the average woman, not all women, the average woman lives for today. So she wants to be married in your scenario, but he's like, well, I want to be able to give her the ring she wants. Well, yeah, she wants the ring, but she really wants to be engaged and to get married. Okay, so she wants it all, but she'll just take getting engaged. So just buy a ring. So she wants to be married. Okay, so she gets married. Cool. Then when she gets married, now it's, well, I want a better ring. So now it's, okay, well, let me get her a better ring, right? Because she didn't really care about all that at first. It was just like, I love you, I want you. And then it's, oh, look at their ring. Oh, look at, oh, yeah. Oh. And then she's like, oh, my ring kind of, you know what, baby? I want a ring. And then it's, well, I don't care where we live. I just want to be with you. And then it's a year later. Well, I want a house. And then it's, but you say you didn't, yeah, but I mean, I want a house. Yeah. So what happens is, for a lot of men, this is what they experience. They deal with their women from the perspective of, they're saying one thing because they really mean it in the moment, but it's really for the moment. And then when that doesn't become enough, they ask for something else. And then they ask for something else. And then they ask for something else. And so in a man's mind, he's already knowing the dynamics of how women are.
That it's always going to be something else.
There's always going to be something
so
else.
I got to prepare for something else.
So he wants to be prepared to give her everything she wants and everything she desires. And I think that's a big component of it. So I think where women can actually start winning in this game, right, is and this is my humble opinion to all women, right? Consider the fact that if you find some true contentment, I promise you, you will make your man the happiest man on the planet. Because a lot of men struggle with committing because of the lack of contentment that women lack. It's always something they want more. And it doesn't seem like it in the beginning because they're not communicating that, because they're only, again, full circle, they're just focused on today. But men don't think like that. We think futuristically. We think ahead. Not saying all women don't think ahead, but not in the way men do, right?
Yeah.
So when a man thinks about marriage, it's all right, I got to get my money up. I got to get a ring. I got to get the house. I got to have a job. I got to have a career. I got to be able to do this. When the kids come, I got to. So they're thinking about all that. The woman is just like, I want to be able to be engaged. I just want my man. I just want my partner. I just want my. So that's all they're thinking.
I think you hit it. I really do. Thank you, and I appreciate the ladies appreciate that feedback, because I'm looking back like,
Well,
okay, because yes, you have those.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
So, yeah. So sis, she don't know what to do. She needs to. But sis got to evaluate herself, evaluate her partner. I say before you leave, at least do everything that you feel like you can for yourself. That way, if you leave, you left with enlightenment, and growth. Like I said, relationships are usually mirrors of each other. Growth. If that's all you can take from it, then that should be enough. It's elevation. I'll take it.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the main topic. Y'all ready?
Okay, yeah,
because I think we warm now.
Hey.
I think we ready. So listen, let's get into this main topic. I'm gonna throw this out there. Now I promise you are a single woman, right? And you're dating, right? Now, in terms of dating in this day and age, right? And it's gonna be a two-part question that we can all dialogue on. What are some of the pros and cons of the 21st century in 2024 that come along with dating? And have you been in a situation, and I believe you have, that's why I'm kind of throwing this out there. Have you been in a situation where you had to decide whether you should stay or go? Let's jump into this.
Okay. So the first part was
pros and cons of dating today.
Pros and cons of dating today. Okay. So I feel like the pros are, I gotta speak from a personal perspective. For me, It is the dating experience, right? Because as a lady, you get to get wined and dined. So it's like, where do you want to go? Yes, I want, Nobu. I want hot and juicy. I want,
Cheesecake Factory, is that good? Is the Cheesecake Factory good?
You said who?
Is Cheesecake Factory good?
Cheesecake Factory, heck yeah, I'll take it.
All right.
It's not gonna be up there with the top 3, but I'll take it. Yeah, they bake macaroni and cheese. Yes, love it.
Yeah.
So that's the fun part. I try and just have a great experience, regardless if I feel a long-term relationship with the person or not. And then establishing a friendship. It doesn't always have to be romantic. So those are the benefits, I feel like. The cons are, I feel like the duty of having to strengthen your discernment, because now you really have to, I feel like for me, hold myself accountable of how much energy I'm willing to contribute. So that becomes like a whole job in itself. Like even if you do like the person, I can't get too excited too fast. Like, okay, you a good package on the outside, but once you start, getting into the roots of it all, then it's just like, okay,
Yeah.
what's going on here? Because I start thinking about TD Jakes modeled home. If we're together, I'm really dating your parents type thing.
Mm.
So, and with dating, you're thinking long term. Can I actually see myself with this person? Is this giving hubby wifey?
Yeah.
So the duty behind it all becomes exhausting, and you have to build up that discernment. So it's an exercise.
So with that, right now, keep in mind, I'm a firm believer in what I'm about to say, right? I and the heart behind what I'm about to say is preventing domestic violence and preventing abuse. Where I truly believe that no woman should be given privacy in her dating life. I believe her father, her uncle, her grandfather, her brother, or somebody should be
You better
vetting
speak
all.
to us.
Yeah, yeah. There should be some authority figure of male in your life that should be vetting any man interested in you. Now
Oh, I love that
I know
so
that goes against the entire Me Too movement and the equality and all types of stuff. And
much.
but I just believe that this is one of the solutions in effectively preventing women getting into very dangerous situations, right? But
Yes.
also I don't believe dating should be fun. I think it should be like a job interview. Because when you're really trying to do life with somebody, you really need to
Mm,
ask yourself, are you qualified for this position?
Mm.
And I think sometimes the fun gets in the way and it jades us from the realities and the flags that we should be recognizing,
mhm,
right? But let me tie this in, right? You've been engaged before and you've been in serious
mhm.
relationships, right? Have you
Yeah.
ever been in a position where you felt like, man, should I stay? Should I go? I don't know. Have you ever been in that position?
Yes.
And so talk to us. Obviously, you being single, you chose to leave
Yeah.
that relationship. So tell us about your experience in that, and let's get into this dialogue because people need help out here.
Okay.
We trying to help some people.
Yes.
They don't know if they should stay. And keep in mind, this is for unmarried people. Today's episode is for
Mhm.
unmarried people. So for all of the single people out there, you trying to figure out, man, should I leave this boy? Should I leave this girl? We about to help you out right now. Let's go,
Right
promise.
now.
Talk.
Cause my situation was unique. My ex, we were together 7 years, two of which he spent in prison, and I did do that time with him. So when he got out, there was like, an institutionalized mindset,
Mm-hmm.
and then him adapting to things I felt like was difficult for him, getting back in the workforce. Things have changed. So there was a feeling of obligation, to try and help, and which I feel like just kept me in it longer.
Mm.
Um, it became mentally abusive, verbally abusive, and he he got addicted to drugs. So then it was that on top of it.
These are like trifecta
So
problems.
Okay.
yeah, he actually ended up getting addicted to drugs. So I felt I felt like I wanted to save him. Leaving would feel like I just completely abandoned him, and I felt that's the main word I could say is just obligated. So I really had to start the process of just putting myself first and my needs and how I was feeling. So the more and more I leaned into that, it pulled me away from him.
Mm.
Because the more I'm trying to protect my mental health, the more I'm trying to put energy into my business, keep me together, that whole thing, have fun with my girls. Everything about it would disturb his demons.
Mm.
So as I grew closer to me and my purpose, and this is all in the time of me developing my community. So I'm putting energy towards developing something that I felt like was so solely aligned with what I needed to do. And knowing that it just drew us apart. So getting faith in myself, then building up a support system, because I've never had that before. So using my support system, that's why when you said have a male figure you're talking to about the relationship you're having with males,
Yeah.
is very important, because now I'm discussing these things with my father. So now I have my father's full support in the decision. So now I'm
Mm.
thinking, if I walk away from this relationship, we've built businesses together, we have a beautiful home. I'm like, dang, I don't want to leave my house. Dang, I don't want to have to, start over and do everything now by myself.
Yeah.
So having support, that's my dad, like, you could leave. You beautiful. You can have any man walking down this earth, whatever. Okay, cool. Now my girlfriend is telling me, like, if you need a place to stay, I got extra room. Like, I'm like, for real? You let me go stay? Like, so when I start realizing all this support I had, and people don't like to put people in their business, but if you don't have 1, 2, 3 people that you trust and that you could be vulnerable with, then now you got to assess yourself. You got to have a good community around. But going back to it, yes, once I realized that I did have support and I was never the one to talk about my situation, and people really started to see what was going on, it gave me all the confidence to walk away, start over, and it was the best decision I could have done for myself. But spirit knows. So if you're asking, if you're going through the thoughts, that's enough. And we be trying to justify things, like, fuck trying to justify it.
Yeah.
If you have that feeling, your spirit is telling you exactly what you need to do.
Yeah.
Mm.
Exactly.
It sounds like your situation was a combination of guilt. You stayed because of guilt.
Right.
You stayed because you felt like if I leave, he would be in a must worse situation, which would be a
Mm-hmm.
reflection on the type of person I might become or be portrayed as.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And that's actually a form of manipulation.
It is.
Now, I'm not sure if he played a part in saying things that made you feel that way. Is that the case? Where if you were trying to leave and he'll say things like, well, if you leave me, how you gonna leave me at my lowest, or stuff like that?
It is definitely manipulation to our businesses, because for me, it was majority his business. We were breeding dogs, just for context. We were breeding dogs, so they are his dogs. I whelped them, which means I took care of them after they were born. But it was his business, so we ate good off of it to where I didn't have to work. So there was that hanging that over my head, like, this really my money. Like, I'm the one doing all the, even
So
though,
that was financial abuse.
yes, yes.
Yeah. And what financial abuse is, for people who are watching who might not know, is it's when a spouse uses the money that they make and they make sure clearly that is their money, and they
Mm-hmm.
use that money to intimidate you from leaving or from feeling like you can go on your own, and they make it very clear that if you leave, you ain't gonna have nothing because this is mine. And so
Right.
that's a way of manipulating you into staying, because you're going to feel like, what am I going to do if I leave? Yeah.
And that's exactly what it was. And I never heard that before. So thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it was. And then I had to check myself, because I'm like, wait, when he was breeding dogs, the you were breeding pit bulls. So pit bulls was worth $300. I came into it and made this a business. I
Mm.
made it to where we elevated from pit bulls to English and French bulldogs. So we went from selling $300 puppies to $3,500 and $7,500 puppies.
Wow.
And that's strategy.
Yeah.
So once I realized I built this up, you might have had the muscle behind it, but I definitely built this up. Ding, 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 girl, do it for yourself. Duh. So what did I do? Separated, grew my own businesses with strategies I already know, and took the same blueprint.
Wow. Wow.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Were you about to say something?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, because it sounds like for a lot of people, one of the greatest reasons people struggle with leaving is emotional attachment, right?
Right.
So y'all had time invested,
Yeah.
right? I've been in that situation too, where because of all the time, when you have a lot of time invested in a relationship, a part of you is, at least for myself, you can let me know if you can resonate with this. For myself at that time, I was like, man, I put years into this relationship. Am I gonna just walk away, and just with nothing? Start over, do I want to get to know somebody else all over again?
All over again.
Right? It's like you go through those mental hurdles to where it's like, am I going to get better than what I have? What if I get worse? Man, what if I leave and I don't find anybody? What if I'm by myself for the rest of my life? Like, I think, and to be honest, I think women think about the severity of these things more than men, because I think men are different. We can always find another woman.
Yeah, because you guys choose.
5, 7. What is it? 7 to
Right.
y'all 1?
Right. So a lot of what I'm saying is just I'm resonating the voices of women that I've talked to. That's some of the things they think about. As men, we don't think about it in the same way. For me, the only thing I thought about was, man, I've been with this girl for a long time. Am I really gonna leave? And then for me, I made a decision. Right, I left. So I wasn't thinking, can I find another woman? Like for men, we don't really think like that. We know we can find another woman. Now, I will say this: as men, we do sometimes think, man, can we find a good woman, especially in 2024? Yeah. Men do wonder, right? But I think all of that is attributed to just the culture we live in. And I think propaganda is causing a lot of deception. There are a lot of great women out here.
Yeah.
There are a lot of great men out here. Now the
Looking
question, for each other. Right? And I always say, I told this to my wife before. I said, man, what if all of the people in bad relationships broke up with each other?
Right.
And got with the people who would be perfect for them, who they're supposed to be with.
Right.
Right. But before that, what I was gonna say was, there's a lot of great women out here. There's a lot of great men out here. I'm talking about single men and women, not married. Okay, people, not married people. Okay, married people off limits.
Okay.
But there's a lot of single men and single women out here. Now, I'm not saying that they're the height you want them to be. I'm not saying they make the money you want them to make.
Right.
I'm not saying they got the booty and the breast you want them to have. But what I am saying, don't get tricked into the propaganda that social media pumps you to make money.
Exactly.
There are a lot of great husband potential and wife potential people in the world. Now, you might not be attracted to them, but that ain't their fault. What happened? Now, let me say this because this is important.
Yeah.
I think we assume we like things because we like them, and that's just not true. No. There are a lot of sodas that taste good, but we like what we like because we've been promoted certain things, and then we tried it, and then we started to love it. It doesn't mean it's the only soda on the planet.
True.
Right? We know Sprite and we know Coke and we know Pepsi. But listen, I love strawberry soda. I love orange soda. It don't get promoted like Sprite, Coke, and Pepsi.
Soda.
Yeah, I know, right? Keenan and Kel.
Kel loves orange.
Here's my point. Orange soda is my favorite soda.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
Why did I know that?
But they never promote orange soda. They promote Sprite.
That's true.
They promote Coke. They promote Pepsi.
Yeah.
They promote now the Starry. The Starry is the clear.
Oh, that used to be Sierra Mist.
Well, whatever it is now. My point is, if I love orange soda, I had to come into that understanding opposite of the propaganda. So if you only feed me beautiful light-skinned women, beautiful dark-skinned women, big booties, big breasts, I'll never know that I can grow to love a slim woman.
Yeah.
I can grow to love a man who is short. Or a thick woman or a big woman. So my point is, there's a lot of great people out here. We're just not attracted to them because of how we've been programmed and conditioned. I'll just leave 3 dots after that.
But that reminds me, like, I thought we was having this conversation this weekend and talking about how, you be back in the day when you were on the phone and you got to know people. I'm sure I'm my age now, but you got to know people over the phone, and
you're still in your 30s. You good.
okay. But also the thing about it is that I remember having conversations because I was in the country, so we had nothing but the phone because it took us about 45 minutes just to get to somebody to go see them. And my mama and daddy was not going to go drive us all the way out there to go on no date or do nothing like that. So the best way we was going to get to learn each other was on the phone. So we'd be on the phone for hours, but it was like, I found you, I don't even know how, a friend through a friend. It was like, yeah, I got your number and da da da. Never met you a day in my life, but the conversation was great, type of person. And I fell in love with the individual that I learned. But then when I got in person, I was like, oh, that's who you are. But then it's like, I really appreciate you for like, it wasn't even I became more, I didn't care about the individual outside of what I saw. Because if I saw you the first in the beginning, then I probably would have been like, nah, I ain't talking to you. But I appreciated the person that I got to meet just through conversation and talking and all those things. So, it's right. Like, you never know, like when people go on blind dates, like, you never know the person that might be your person. You just fall in love with someone that you never knew that you would ever be attracted to. So,
yeah. It's tough, man. It's tough because I get it. You want to be attracted to the person you marry, which you should be.
Yeah.
Granted, but I also think that we have to give ourselves better opportunities and more opportunities and open up our horizons to what might be possible.
Right.
And I think social media, culture, society, we kind of create our own limitations based on what we see on a basis, right? And so you might have a situation where a person might not consider, for example, you married a pastor.
Yeah.
Right. Now, granted, just be honest, I never wanted to be a pastor. So it wasn't my choice.
And I didn't want to marry a pastor.
Right. So, but here we are. Here we are. Right. I was supposed to be a musician, winning Grammys, winning awards.
Yes.
That's
it's still possible,
Well, yeah, it's still possible.
Yes.
I'm good at what I do.
Yes.
But that's not where God has us right now.
You're right.
But we have a great relationship, we have a great marriage, and we had to be open to what God presented to us.
Yeah.
Right. And we had to because my wife likes light-skinned, shorter men.
Slim too.
Yeah, light-skinned, short, slim men. I am big, brown skin, and tall.
Oh, that's you. Yes.
Yeah, completely opposite of right? And the type of woman I like is the brown skin, slim,
big.
Huh?
Go ahead, say it.
Big breasts. Right?
Yeah. Go ahead and tell
slim,
the
no hips. Like I like I like to grip that waist, and that just when I hug her, I like to put my arms around.
Okay, you're going a little too far.
I'm just saying.
Okay, yeah.
We both.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
She said, "Are you doing too much now? Right? You're doing too much. You're doing too much." The point I'm making it now. Granted, my wife is not big at all, but what I'm saying is, aesthetically, we were not each other's prime target, right? But once we got to know each other, and we did have to navigate waters, right? We've had many hard conversations. I say, so you ain't attracted to me? You don't want to have sex with me? You don't like me? Like, so just be honest. You don't like my stomach? Like, we've had some hard conversations, right? We've been in the trenches with our conversations, and we've had to work through it. You get what I'm saying? Now, granted,
that's good.
Now keep in mind, when we started dating, I was 100 pounds heavier than I am now.
Yeah.
So she took a real chance.
For real.
So I lost 100 pounds, and then we got married, and so my commitment to her was to keep that weight off, right? But the point I'm making is that none of it is what we thought it would be, but the option that God presented us were great options, and we took a chance, and we believed it would work, and we fell in love with the personalities. We fell in love with who we were as people. It was more than just.
And they weren't deal breakers you guys had. Well, like fundamental deal breakers. They weren't like things that you
correct
felt so strongly about.
Correct. Like I couldn't be with a woman that smoked. So she wasn't a smoker. So that wasn't a deal breaker for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so,
yes.
So to your point, the deal breakers were not like we had more of a preferences than standards.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of our standards were great. The preferences we were willing to negotiate and come off of. You get what I'm saying? But here's my question. I want to kind of go a little bit deeper. For people who are in relationships right now, trying to decide should they stay, let's talk to them really quick. And then we'll go to the people who should leave. So for the people who should stay, what would y'all say are some real good indicators that they should stay in their relationship?
We got a trying person, you know, because you said, you know, you keeping that weight off. You doing it in the first place, like going through, okay, I lost 5 pounds, lost 10 pounds, 30, we had 50, like that trying. That is the most beautiful thing I could think of. If I have somebody who's putting in effort, like I might not be the brightest, but you know, I'm doing the exercises that's going to strengthen that. That means you should continue to fight. If that person's fighting, fight.
Effort.
Effort. Yeah, I love it.
And you know what? That's a good one because for a lot of couples, you know what they ask me in marriage counseling? Or when new clients come about or people who's inquiring or during consultation, they're like, my partner don't try. They don't put forth no effort. And
that
so
means
it's
go.
street.
You can't try for me. If I'm saying I need romance and you can't think of one thing to do a week to show more romance, then you throw the whole person away. Throw away. I feel like you could tell in the person's language.
Yeah. So effort. So if they're showing effort that they care and they love you and they're trying, that's a reason to stay, right?
You know, that's looking like asking questions, like trying to dissect what it is. If they're not getting it, let's dissect it. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to speak that language.
That's good. I was gonna say consistency.
We got to applaud. All right. There we go.
That means something good, right?
Yeah. That's good. That was a great one. If you are in a relationship and you see that their effort is there and they're trying, don't give up on that person.
I always think about
it eventually.
I think about the movie with the lady. What is the name of that movie? Basically, her husband was building.
Acrimony.
Acrimony. Like she was building.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Give me a chance. I love this game.
But
acrimony. Okay, I've seen it.
Yeah. So it was really that in itself was a great example of how you should stay with someone regardless of their income, what you expect them to have. He was literally saying that I got you, just stay with me because it's going to happen. Like this man built something and then you left him, got mad because you couldn't be patient enough, and he then became a whole billionaire off of this one invention Like this is something that is like, you can be missing out on something so great when we don't have the patience for our mate. And, you know, actually support too, because sometimes they need that support from us.
So this kind of speaks to what I was saying earlier during the question of the day, right? She was a show me now. Now, in her defense, she did stick around for years.
Yeah, I get it.
Right?
And I get it.
In her defense, she did stick around for years.
Right.
But the problem is she was more in love of where she wanted to be than she was with him.
Yeah.
And this is part of the problem, right? You're in love with the idea of where he was going more than being with him in the moment because the pressures of the bills and life was too much for her to deal with. And when she got to her, you know, success or whatever she was doing, it was like she wanted to be done. But it's like, This is speaking directly to the issue a lot of our culture is dealing with, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our women have to be a little bit more patient with our men.
Yeah.
Stay power.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I
And,
agree.
and if that person is trying, so I could see if he just wasn't doing nothing, he drinking beers, watching the game every night, but
Right.
the man literally was spending all his days studying and building this
Yeah.
software. I forget what it was the homie was building,
Yeah.
but he was working on it nonstop.
Right.
But it definitely goes back to that love, because if she was if it was really him and not the idea, her stay power would have been stronger to see it through. Like there's
Yep.
no other option. And
Right.
the fact that we married, we're not dating.
Right.
We're married. There's no other option than
Mhm.
to see this through, because divorce should never be an option. So if
Right.
I'm not gonna leave you, then we have to see this through.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I listen, my answer to that question would be, what would be indicators to stay? Love and respect is the prime top foundational
Absolutely.
components, right?
Mhm.
We live in, we come from our parents came from a generation where songs like "What's Love Got to Do with It,"
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And what that tells me is they never understood love, right? Because love is the very reason that you do stay. It's the very component that causes God to stick it out with us,
Mhm.
right? Like God, like think about it. God owns everything. What would be the real reason to just keep trying with humanity? And y'all know we some jacked up humans.
Yeah.
What makes
Right.
God keep trying? What makes God keep trying to save his relationship with us? It can only be because it ain't nothing we can really give him. It can only be genuine, true love. So here's my question to all generations. If you have songs
Unconditional.
like "What's Love Got to Do with It," or if you say love is not enough, but then you say love should have brought your tail home,
Mhm.
right? So what that means is, and this is why when I do marriage ceremonies, I talk about this component.
Mhm.
Love is the most powerful transformative tool on the planet.
Mhm.
Yes.
If you love someone, that's why you go to work.
Yeah.
If you love someone, that's why you get up early. If you love someone, that's why you pay the bills. If you love someone, that's why you listen. If you love someone, that's why you're patient. If you love someone, that's why you're kind and you're gentle and you're respectful.
Preach, Mr. Art.
So the thing is, when people say love is not enough, that just tells me you don't really know love. And I don't blame you. We just go with what we hear. We don't really think things through.
Yeah.
We go with what sounds good and what people cheer for. And so
Mhm.
that's why in the culture we live in with clickbait and clips, right? We hear stuff that sound good, but the Bible says, right, everything sounds good until you're cross-examined.
Mm. Yep.
Right? The first response is always going to sound great until you get a cross-examination.
Whoa, mind blown.
Yeah. And that's the danger we live in. Think about it. If I came out right now and said, yo, Promise is a fake and she's a false because of dot dot dot, they're gonna be like, yo, they're gonna be like, you know what, that is kind of true. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what, that is true. Because somebody did say, but until somebody comes with a cross-exam, no, you don't know Promise.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know the intention of her goals. You don't know the reason she did this and the
Right.
heart behind this. And she
Mhm.
did. Now the cross-examination brings a full picture, and now we look stupid for our initial response.
Mm.
So the thing is, but not to get too far off topic, love and respect is the number one component. If that exists in your relationship, it is worth keeping
Mhm.
because that means no matter what you go through, you're going to treat each other right, treat each other properly, and deal with situations in a rational manner that leads to production.
Mm.
And so that would be my response as to why you stay, because that also boils into healthy communication.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Right.
willing to listen because I love you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to cut you off when you're talking because I love you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to push to the side what you're saying or conveying to me that you have an issue with me of and try to defend myself. because I love you and I want to hear what you got to say. Like, that's true love.
Yeah.
That's true respect.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk to you crazy or talk down to you because I disagree with you. I'm going to actually be open-minded, even if I might not agree in the same light. Like, that to me are components that really make a relationship worth staying.
Oh wow.
Now, most relationships don't have that.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah, you have two low vibrating people together. And for me, it's identifying hybrids. So I know I need a hybrid. Sometimes because I have done so much work on myself, I am more, high functioning. But because I am still dealing with some trauma, I can be low functioning sometimes.
Yeah.
So I can't have anybody too high that makes my low feel real low, and then I can't have anybody too low to where they're bringing my high down. So knowing that I need a balance means compromise. So then now I'm looking at mindset.
yeah.
Yeah.
That means you need a man who knows what love is.
Yeah.
Because a man who loves you properly is going to allow you to have those low moments because it's a safe place to be low.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And that's why husbands or men, they need respect from their women because they need a place where they can be at their worst and still get the respect they need.
Yeah.
So women need love, men need respect. And that's how we process it. Men take respect as love. Women take love as love. Now, you might hear the terms interchangeably. A woman might say, you don't respect me. But what she's really saying is you don't love me.
Yeah.
Right? But you'll never really hear a man say you don't love me. We'll always say you don't respect me. If you get what I'm saying, like we don't pay attention to small things like that. But I'm telling y'all that's how it works. If a woman has a man that truly loves her, she can be at her lowest.
You should have told. Okay, I'm gonna have to bring me a notebook and paper. I need notes. All right, I'm gonna have to watch this back so I can take down some notes.
Yeah, and so the thing is that if you have love and if you have respect, your relationship can survive anything.
Yep.
It really can. And a lot of people don't realize that because they've been taught to believe that money is more important and all these other things. But love and respect is the foundation to everything. It holds everything together. If me and my wife lost everything today, our love and respect for each other is going to allow us to look at the problem and work together and not look at each other and fight.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like it's the love and the respect that we have for each other. And that's what we try to help other couples understand. And when we do counseling with people, whether it's we do counseling with singles, we do counseling with couples, we do counseling with married folks. But what we try to understand is that we want people to understand that at the end of the day, if you have foundational things, it can work.
Yeah.
But then you have certain things where it's like, nah, you can't stay in this. So what are some things where it's like, nah, you can't stay if this is going on? Let me ask y'all this. Cheating. Yeah, cheating. Should they stay if the person is cheating?
Oh.
That's hard for me.
Yeah.
No, the reason why I say
sorry, cut you off real quick. The reason why I'm bringing this up first is because this is what a lot of people are dealing with initially. It's the unfaithfulness, and it's maybe happened once or twice, or it happened a few times on both sides. Men and women have cheated on each other,
Yeah.
and they're trying to figure out, man, is this worth staying in? So let's start there.
I am actually open to an open type of relationship. So cheating will not be accepted for me because that means you did it behind my back without, my input. So that's why it wouldn't be accepted. Because if we had a conversation about it, maybe I don't like that person. Maybe it's, just more attention that I need right now. So I don't have the emotional energy to navigate through that right now. But if it's a conversation, then I actually would be open. So I would not allow cheating because if you did it behind my back, that's a deal breaker.
What do you say?
I think depending on the person, because you can always bounce back from cheating. There's a reason why the person or you cheated in the whole reason in the whole place, like the whole reason why you did it. A lot of people cheat because they're missing something inside of their relationship. So if this person is telling you, "Hey, I just want to have sex. Hey, can you give me more attention? Hey, can you rub my back?" Or, just little things, whatever they may ask for. If you're not providing that, they're going to find somewhere else to go for it. So
Yeah.
that's where the communication, if they're lacking something, I think that's where you need to have a conversation to where you as the individual, what are you not bringing to the table? Because whatever that other person brought was because you didn't bring to the table. Because most people wouldn't want to go behind a relationship if they're committed, if they already are getting everything that they want or they're desiring. Now, for myself, cheating probably is going to be I just got to go because mentally I couldn't handle it because I'm always in the back of my mind thinking, would you do this? Or me always thinking about, am I good enough? Am I this
Is
person
you
that
really at the stove?
right? Are you really at the store? Like, are you really at your friend's house? Like, I don't want to be in that mental space, always thinking about, your whereabouts or when we're not together, what are you doing? So that is for me, it's just a no go. But
In a
again,
relationship is too
it's
much. And in a marriage,
mhm,
I would hope to be able to always come back and figure out what's really missing so we can grow together and prevent it if
right.
that's the case. But I feel like really communication, like you said, if it's the person, because I feel like men, if we're being realistic about it, men when they have trauma, they release trauma from the hips. So
Mhm.
that means they fuck their way out of stress. So if you're knowing that this situation is just that and
Mhm.
there is no emotional attachment to it, I know me knowing that I don't feel any type of way
Mm.
because that's their thing. And then I feel like a negotiation has to happen too. Sometimes I'm just not in the mood and
Yeah.
I'm busy or I
Mhm.
really do I'm booked up,
Mhm.
I can't service you, sir.
Yeah. Sorry.
Call homegirl Nikki. I'll call her for you. Homegirl Nikki, okay, you think you could take care of? Okay, I'm out of town. This the situation, sis.
Mhm.
Come through for us, sis. It's a negotiation. Keep everybody happy,
Mhm.
you know. But that's just me.
Yeah. I think with cheating,
Mhm.
right? I do believe relationships can rebound
Mm.
from,
Yeah.
right? I think propaganda and social media and clips and YouTube and podcasts, they try to frame it a certain way. Bro, people forgiving cheating every day, B.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
And let me be clear. Men are forgiving women for cheating too.
Yeah.
Every day, B.
Every day. Every day.
Like,
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm just doing my New York,
Oh, yeah.
my
New
New
York,
every
you
day,
gotta
B.
say it a little
Right?
deeper.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
Yes.
saying,
There you
B?
go.
Like, and I want people to realize, like, I know men are gonna always try to talk hard and talk like they ain't gonna put up with this. I know men who forgive cheating.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I've talked to men who have forgiven cheating.
Mhm.
It happens all the time.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I don't want us to think that men just cast away women when they cheat. It's just not true.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
the thing is, when somebody cheats, the question is why, and you have to, like promise it, you have to really negotiate and talk about why did you cheat in the first place?
Mhm.
Was there a stipulation that, hey, this is monogamous?
Mhm.
If that stipulation is in place, then the cheating was a violation. Why did you violate our trust? Why did you violate our covenant? Why did you violate our relationship? Right? Remember, this is for unmarried people. Why did you violate our commitment?
Mhm.
You give your reasons, you share your thoughts, and then you got to figure out if you can come to a conclusion or a resolution and say, hey, going forward, this is not going to happen again. Boom, boom, boom. And if it does, you got to have your stuff in place as to what you're going to do.
Right.
Right. But I think what it boils down to is I think cheating, um, now to give my humble perspective, even though cheating can be forgiven and people can move on from it,
Mhm.
I don't know if it's always the healthiest thing to do
Yeah, right.
because of what my wife just explained.
Yeah.
If you know that you cannot move your mind and your emotions to a place of new beginnings, and you are the type of person where you harbor and you
Mm,
retimate. I said the word wrong, but when you repeat things over and over and over again in your head, then maybe it is best for your own mental health to move on to a new relationship, right? To a new situation. Um, but I don't think cheating is a deal breaker right away. I do think it requires communication and then a resolution after that conversation, you know.
I think it's just the lying part. I think if men, uh, however it's going, if people were just honest about their sexual desires, this might mean need to be a whole new podcast. I mean, like
Okay.
episode. But if people are honest about their sexual desires, and I feel like they'll go somewhere else for those sexual desires because they don't want to be looked at a certain way with their partner. But it's like, if you're honest about it, wouldn't that be great to experience the way you want to be loved with the person you love?
Right.
And just the honesty behind it. Be honest. Shoot, represent your clique. Make it to where if there needs to be more of a friendship established where you get to do your thing, you get to do your thing, and we can still come together and be cool, and then maybe, whatever. But communication will help establish all of that. Me and a friend of mine, we have a code blue. So that means if I'm entertaining someone, if he's entertaining someone, we can communicate our code blue to where I know I'm not thinking he's avoiding my call or just trying to stay away from me, but entertaining the situation so it's not awkward and I blowing up a phone or trying to see what's going on, but we just have that type of communication to where it's understanding on both ends. And then it makes it to where, for me, if things were to get serious, hey, a person knows how to navigate from there. This is no more open thing. This is us officially coming together as a union.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious though, how would that work if there's an open relationship pre-marriage? Does it stay open after marriage,
That would be in their
or that has to be
negotiation.
negotiated?
That would be in a negotiation.
Oh, got you.
Because it's from both ends. It wouldn't be just he gets to have some fun whenever he wants. If
Right.
I was doing my thing too, we gotta come together and reevaluate our agreement.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. You know,
That's true.
my humble opinion, right? I always think that is such a dangerous territory
yeah.
because the way God created us, right? We God is very jealous, right? So He's jealous with
Mm-hmm.
us, right? And I think we have that same nature. Like
Mm-hmm.
it'll because we were all, me and my wife, we were single at one point, right? You're single now. We all understand what I'm about to say. When you single and you just having fun and you just doing your thing, right? And it's like you're not really getting caught up in your feelings and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you find someone you love and that you invest in, something changes, right? It's like the chemical part about you that's just like God. It just starts to just kick in. It's like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you looking at nobody else, right? It just starts to. It's like, we kind of was open, but nah, that's over now. But that's done, right? And because your the part about us that kicks in is like, I don't want nobody else to experience that part of you, whether it's the intimacy, whether it's the sex, whether it's the communication, whether it's the family bonding where
Just
your
access,
mom
period.
Yeah.
access, right? And I think, because we was having this conversation. Sometimes my conversations run together. I was talking to somebody about open relationships. I don't remember who it was. And we had gotten to the part of the conversation where we talked about when it transitions from casual into something serious. And part of the conversation was like, yo, there's no way, because they had gotten to, they was explaining the raw details of it. I wish I could remember who this conversation with, but they had gotten to the raw details. I said, yo, there's no way that y'all are okay with this. That transition that happened from that casual to seriousness changed the whole dynamic. And it changed the whole dynamic to the point where there's no way you are okay with them going to do A, B, and C. It's just no way. And they admitted like, yeah, you're right. And so that dynamic is such an interesting conversation, because I know we live in, it's 2024. A lot of things are going on, right?
Right.
And people are trying to find new ways. You know what I think too? I think people are trying to find new ways to be okay with the idea that maybe nobody's faithful no more. Right? I think it's like, do I have to settle for the idea that everybody cheats? Do I have to settle for the fact that you can't find someone who's going to only be with you for the rest of your life? I think there's a lot of conversations going on in our heads that causes us to embrace certain realities, right?
What about the hurt factor?
That part too.
Yeah,
It's like
like
you're shielding yourself
from being hurt, because you think about, when you're when you like you said, you're all in, it's just something inside of you just changes to the part that you don't want anyone else. But also you think about, like, if they were to decide to do it with someone, or do what y'all were doing on the side without you, you're gonna get hurt. Like, your feelings gonna get hurt. So I think about that too. It's just like, well, at least I'm not 100% invested. At least I can give you 99% of my time, but I know this 1%, if I need to, this is gonna, this will be my safe haven.
I do have a question, Promise. In the dating phase, right?
Yeah.
I know inside of a relationship, right? Could we just kind of highlight a few things? Cheating might be a reason to leave. Toxic behavior might be a reason to walk away. Abuse, gaslighting, manipulation, like all of those things, I think is pretty common reasons, right? So let me navigate for a second. In the dating world right now, if you're not really committed to someone and you're just kind of messing with somebody, kicking it, is there a place where singles today they're finding themselves like, I know we're not in a committed relationship and we're just kind of dating, but I don't know if I should leave or go or stay in the dating phase with the person. Like, we're not in a relationship, but we're not really, like, let me say it a better way. We're not in a relationship committed, but we ain't really just friends either. We're like in the in between
phase. Yeah, like we're almost there, but
right. Is there a space where it's like, man, should I stay? Should I go? Is it happening in that place too for people nowadays?
Yeah, I want to assume so. For me, I navigate different. So it's more so friendship or relationship. So at first we're friends. We may be, dating, trying to fill each other out to see what that looks like a little bit, but for the most part we're getting to know each other, and that's a friendship. So I don't like to just discard people. You never know when you're entertaining an angel, just because I always feel like if it's not meant romantically, then you can learn something. You can take away something. It can be a great connection for business. But I want to say yes. I want to say yes. More so trying to navigate, do I really want to pursue this long term, or is this best to just be left here as a friend, or let me just block and throw the whole person away?
Yeah. What are some, I'm curious to know from a woman's perspective, what are some real, like, I know we talked about cheating and toxic behaviors and abuse and all that. What are some maybe less aggressive signs that you should just be done with it, but people don't really pay attention to that they should? that say, you know what, if this is happening, walk away. Time to go.
It would be like mindfulness. So I'm looking at, do you care enough to really see how my day was? And not just know, hey, how are you? Oh, I'm good. How you doing? Oh, I'm good. You want to hook up later? Like really dissecting it to like create an environment almost. So you can really, if there was anything on me, is this a space where I could really let this go? So I'm looking at a level of mindfulness. And if that's not there in the beginning and throughout us developing a relationship, it still doesn't come, then that's an alert for me. Why don't you care really how I am, how my business is? For me, being in church and therapy, do you check and see if I went, how'd it go? Red flag, red flag, red flag. So it's settled. It's settled. Like that don't mean they're a bad person. Their mindfulness isn't there to that gives me, trust in their emotional intelligence.
So what if y'all are already invested, like 6 months in, 8 months in, 1.5 years in?
I done did 10 years, so that's nothing. Once if you in a relationship, that's the one beneficial part of that. When you spend so long with a person, I don't care about no 6 months. I throw the 6 months away, start over. We could do that.
Yeah.
I'm scared of doing 10 years with someone and having to throw it away.
Yeah.
That's
So
scary. I don't do that again.
What if you're 5 years in, right? And this is just for you're 5 years into
Not
this.
married, unmarried. Because if it's unmarried, I don't care how long it's been, we could throw it away. Only thing once I bring God into that, that's why I'm so serious about even getting married. I'm not, my spirit would not even let me get married unless I know I'm devoting my life to this person for the rest of my life. Because I have brought God into it.
Yeah. And
God is not supporting any relationships just because we're dating.
Yeah. And that's why I specified this episode to unmarried people, because there's so many people unmarried, but they're still spending time and wasting time or combining time or collecting time with individuals that they've been talking to for 3, 4 years, 5 years, in a relationship with 6 years, or got kids, they got a house, and they still arguing and fighting, don't know if they should stay, leave, go, and they just kind of stuck. But I think, which is the elephant in the room, kind of like as we wrap up, it should not matter how much time you have spent with the person. Right? But that is if I can be honest, I think that is the number one component for a lot of people. The emotional investment, the time investment. And it's like, man, what if I make the wrong decision? Like, what if this could all change tomorrow? Y'all know how we think.
Yeah.
Man, this person might become who I want them to be if I leave.
All these potentials out here.
Right. And that's one of the biggest fears. Nothing. That's one of the big, especially for women. One of the biggest fears women have is that man gonna become everything you want him to be.
With another woman.
Like acrimony. But I feel like if give your all. That before I left my ex, I did everything. I communicated exactly what it is that I wanted, and I worked on that communication and how it should be received by him, how I wanted it to be received by him. Making sure I did everything on my end to where I know once I left, I've done everything. To where if it was really meant, it would have happened. And then trusting the process, because with it, I grew to where when we separated, if it's meant to be, it just will.
Yeah.
But really, it gave me all the strength and tools that I need, that I feel like my husband is really going to value.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That's good. That's really good. Ooh.
Was you about to say
we
that?
had a great talk today, y'all. I need a part 2.
Yeah. Listen, we definitely gonna have to do listen. This because this conversation, and this is why I felt like I told my wife when we did the first episode a couple weeks ago, I said this might turn into a series, because at least 3 or 4 episodes worth, because a lot of people are in this space where They don't know what to do. And they're in these
Mm-hmm.
relationships and they don't know if they should stay or walk away.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
keep in mind, like we said in the last episode, only you can really make this decision.
Right.
Our conversation today is really just to help people navigate the thoughts and the questions that they might be having.
Mm-hmm.
But only you know all the details, right? You might say, you know what, this person isn't mindful. And you know a promise is right. They're not mindful.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be a big thing. But if you know they're loving
Yeah.
and they're caring, that means you can communicate the lack of mindfulness and they'll
Yeah.
be willing to
Right.
fix it. So don't throw it away,
Right.
right? Or you might say, well, artist said, dot, dot, dot. Well, yeah, but what if they got 5 other great qualities?
Exactly.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
just talk about the 1 or 2 things that might be struggling. Now, there's the other side of it where it's like your whole relationship is trash. Like, there's nothing good about it.
Mm-hmm.
You can just walk away. You could just like promise it. Just throw the 10 years away. Just you ain't married.
Throw the whole
Just
person
throw
away.
the whole. And so, whatever side of the coin you're on, hopefully, this
Mm-hmm.
conversation gave you some insight as to how you should navigate.
Yeah.
But please leave questions in the comments, right? On our Facebook, on our Instagram, on our YouTube. Leave comments, leave questions. We'll make sure we try to answer them as best as possible. But listen, as we began to wrap up, did we have any more comments on this part?
No, because I forgot what I was gonna say, but it's gonna come back.
I wanted to say, really, just with everything that I'm taking away from you, because this is definitely a learning experience for me. It's definitely going to come down to communication, expressing yourself on how you feel, and asking the right questions.
Yeah.
Because I want to you want the space to where you can talk to a person and say, hey, is this a good time to speak and really unload some things? Because I really love to talk. And if it's not the good time, wait for that time, see how that person prioritize making that time. But if you get it, really using it to express yourself. Like, I feel like I'm getting lost in this. I feel like we might be losing our fire, or I'm really interested to see how you feel about us taking this next stage in our relationship, and what that plan looks like for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Communication, setting that environment for it to happen, and then accountability. So
Yeah.
once fully moving 100% with that. And if that's your man and y'all working together, trusting in that, letting him lead and show you.
And listen, I'm a firm believer. People they might call me old school or traditional, but I'm a firm believer in the man setting the tone and setting the pathway, right? And this is what I train men to do and develop men to do. This is part of my coaching strategy, right? I have a young man.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I have a
Basing them
young.
on you.
Yeah, I have a young. I mean, I do this for a living, so I do this with older men, younger men, all in between. But a lot of the men that I lead, when we deal with relationships, for example, one young man, he came to me a couple weeks ago, and he said, "Artist, I know who I want to be with." I said, "Okay, cool. Who is she?" He told me who she was. I said, "Okay, are you ready to get married?" He said, "Well, no, not really." I said, "Well, you ain't ready for it then, right?" But I said, "But what we can do is just set up a Zoom call together, and all of us get on the Zoom call. We'll talk." And that's what we did. And one of the things I said in front of her to him is, "You have to be sure. She don't got to be sure, because she is the one who's going to leave her mother and father and join to you." So, because women, when they leave their father's safety net, they're putting their full trust in you.
Mm-hmm.
See, when you leave your mother and father, it's different.
Yeah.
So long story short, what I was explaining to him was, and as I'm coaching him through this journey and this guy's a pretty young guy, early 20s. Of course, it's very different for somebody in their 30s or 40s, which is I have a different approach for those guys. But one thing I'm a firm believer in is the man has to set the tone. He has to set the tone for the relationship, the future, the vision for his family, and really set the road for what that woman is going to walk into, right? And that's just very important. It's just very, very important. So I was just agreeing with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And that's how I would love it. I am looking forward to being back in my submissive role because that's where I'm comfortable, letting a man lead. So when I start to identify things that show that he's not a good leader, that right there is walk away.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
be friends.
Yeah.
I will say this though, there is a difference between the raw material of a leader that doesn't show itself yet
Mm.
and the true absence of the qualities of leadership.
Break that down.
Mm.
What it means is there are some men, well, let me say it this way. All men have the capacity to lead in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just might not be in relationship form,
Mm.
but they might be a great leader in business, a great leader in the work field, right? Community work. So what that means is they have the raw material to do it in their marriage. It's just not showing up in that area or in relationships. And then you have men who don't have the ability to lead at all because they have never been groomed or developed into doing it.
Mm.
And it might sound confusing. So let me say it a very clear way. Some men have the raw material naturally to lead, and they have to be trained and groomed and developed. Some men don't have the raw material and they need to be infused with the raw material and then developed and then groomed, right?
Who does the grooming come from?
From a source of authority.
So it would be like another male figure, or these are like series of relationships where he
No,
starts
no,
to
no,
put stuff together.
no. The series of relationships is basically a pattern of failing into progress, and we don't want to do that. We don't
Okay.
want to use dummies or be, we don't want to treat women as dummies
Yeah.
like a car crash dummy into figuring out how to drive. We don't want to do that. What we want to
Mm.
do is not damage women along the way. What we want to do is leave women alone while you learn how to be a man and a husband and a leader and a role model and a father figure, all of the things that encompass this.
Leave us alone until you're ready. Leave us alone. I am one of many. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Now women play a role in this too, because you can't tease him and entice him while he's trying to leave you alone.
Okay, bet.
Right, yeah. Because because what will happen is even though he knows he's supposed to leave women alone, if you don't let him leave you alone, that's going to be too much temptation, right? Now, granted,
Right.
I'm not trying to escape his accountability, but what I am saying is women play a major role, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
because a woman will say no and mean yes. A woman will say not right now and mean right now. A woman has a way of communicating language that's very opposite of what she really means. And women have to learn to stop doing that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
men
we
know
do.
that language and they prey on that language. And
Mm.
it's not acceptable for men to do it, but this is just the dynamics of our world, right?
Right.
And so I encourage men, don't deal with women until you're ready for a wife. That's why the Bible says a man should not touch a woman until he gets married. Literal touch. He shouldn't even
Mm-hmm.
touch her, right? But long story short, what's important is that for in the example I used, we have set a foundation for that young man. And now that young lady knows what to expect going forward. She knows what the goal is, what the end goal is, what the timeline is, what it's going to look like, and what they need to talk about in between. The plan is being put in place. All of these different things, like this is part of what it looks like to develop a young man into a husband and doing it the proper way. Now, granted, the problem is a lot of men are not humble enough to take this type of leadership and direction because they grown. They don't want anybody telling them what to do. But
Mm.
at the same time, if you don't know what you're doing and you I'll just say it this way. If you don't know what you're doing, you keep failing at it, and you're not humble enough to get coaching and development, because you know how men are. We're men, it's just part of our nature. But we have to learn to rise above that and realize that if we can get a source of authority or some level of coaching or guidance and money or finance or everything else, you should be able to do it when it comes to becoming a boyfriend and a husband.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Yeah. But man, this has been a great conversation.
Yes.
Let's get
I thank
into
you both so much.
yeah.
Course.
Let's close out here. We gotta close out with our what would you do scenario. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So the way this works
Dun,
is,
dun,
all
dun.
right. The way this works is there's no wrong answer. There's no right answer. Just your
Mhm.
honest answer. Right? All right. The topic is my partner lacks ambition. All right. The topic is my partner lacks ambition.
Ambition.
All right.
Tough.
So you've grown in your career. You've grown in your career. But your partner seems to be stagnant and uninterested in growing or going to the next level in their career. They're content. You want to motivate them to do more, but you don't want to cause a bigger problem or a bigger issue. What would you do?
Because I don't like it at all. Lack of motivation is a no-no because I feel like I work so much that you're gonna start to hinder me in a way. Spend more
Mm,
time with me, spend more time with me. I am chasing a bag and you should be chasing one too, sir. Um, so for me, it would set an environment to initiate a conversation. I'll start to ask some questions, want to see like really how do they see their next couple years. Start something like vague like that. Like, how do these next couple years look for you career wise?
Mhm.
What's some things and some goals that I could possibly help you with.
Mhm.
So if we start there, and that conversation doesn't go anywhere progressive. So they're saying clearly, I'm gonna keep doing the same thing I've been doing, type thing. It would be a deal breaker for me. And then I would have to communicate that. What if I told you it was a deal breaker if things stay exactly where they are? I would want to see you progress in some way to where you're not on my phone every 10 minutes, like where you at when you coming home and what you doing, type thing. So
Mhm.
I would say that, but very respectfully.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. What would you do?
I'd say, well,
Because I know what I would do.
my I know what you would do. My first initial was like leave them alone and just let them be. But then I start thinking about, if I'm really um being this person that is really motivated to see us together at a higher level and I'm the only one putting in the work, it can be a strain or relationship. So my thing will be, like you said, promise, asking questions, what can we find, maybe finding something that you love that we can maybe do together. What is
Mhm.
there something that we can try to navigate this being stagnant or you being okay with just being mediocre. Like there's so much more that we can do, but I think it's more of like now being that team player to like take a step back to be like, okay, now I know that I'm doing everything or I know that I'm at this level, but I want us to be at this level. So what can I do to allow you to see it at a different way, because I don't want to leave you behind and I don't want to be the person to say this, but we gotta do something, because if we're in a relationship, like we are our weakest link. Like as a team, like you are as strong as your weakest link. So if your weakness is being not motivated or what'd you say? What is it called? Well, I forgot.
Ambitious.
Ambitious, not being ambitious, then we can't do that. Like that's not us. Like that's not our thing. Like we have to find a way. We have to find how we can be ambitious together. So pick
Because I'm assuming this would be the woman talking about the man lacking some ambition. Because if it was a man, then he could kind of set that tone already.
It's anybody. So the scenario is for men or women.
Yeah.
The man to the woman to the man. Just an individual who lacks ambition, but you have ambition and you want more, but they don't. Right. For me, here's my honest response. What I would do is nothing. I would do nothing.
I knew you was gonna say that.
Because I would be forcing what I want on them, but I would be impeding their happiness. And I don't know if I would be comfortable making them unhappy with trying to make me happy in the process.
Okay.
And I know it sounds
no.
It's tough because in a relationship, you want to make your partner happy, right?
Right.
But I don't know if I want to do it at the expense of theirs. Right? I don't know if I want to make myself happy at the expense of theirs. So if I'm ambitious and I'm trying for more, but they're content, I don't know if I would want to disrupt that. So I would do nothing. That's what I would do.
It seems like it would be how much of a factor it has into the relationship overall.
Right.
I mean, if you're comfortable and you make decent money and it's coming in just passively to where you actually just can relax more, then that might be a little bit different. But
to your point,
I guess
the promises point, if you broke, nah, bro, we need some ambition.
I can't look at you lack so much and not want to do nothing about it. And that's what I'm seeing as being a lack of motivation. They're like, if they just work a content job and have things going on just how they like it, I wouldn't have nothing really bad to say or feel any type of way unless it just hindered the process overall for growth. So if it's not hindering growth at all, then we good.
Yeah.
Be at peace, boo. Because for me, from the outside looking in, it looks like I don't do nothing because all my work is on my phone. So you'll look at me and be like, she's so calm. She ain't did shit all day. Whole time, I done finessed all kind of plays over this phone. So I guess it really just depends on how it's affecting the process.
Yeah. So that wraps up our What Would You Do scenario. Listen, this has been a great episode. Listen.
4th episode.
Listen.
Yes, we did that.
This has been a great episode. Promise. Let them know where they can find you. Give them your social media handles, your website. How can they book you? Give them all your information.
So my personal Instagram is Miss Promise, MISS Promise. That's my modeling and booking info. The Boss Builder is for coaching and mentorship. Biz Besties LV is our entrepreneurial community. Z's in it. So follow me. Instagram, Facebook. The Facebook group for Business Besties is Business Besties LV. That's free promotion for any entrepreneur women. So yeah, thank you guys so much. This was awesome, and I can't wait to replay it and take my notes.
Yeah,
this will go. How can they find you, Z?
Oh Lord. Oh, what is? Why I forget this every time?
Okay, you don't be on social media like that.
I know. So the first way you could, Instagram, of course, I am Zadoria. So you spell my name as you can see it on the screen right there. And then also the Master Helper is my other business as well.
Yeah,
and one coming soon.
Yeah. And you can find me everywhere as Artist7 Anderson on all social media handles. And you can find us everywhere at Try Forever Love. That's TRY, the number 4 EVER. Make sure you go to our website for singles coaching, couples counseling, and marriage counseling. Try TRY, the number 4 everlove.com. Here for all your relationship needs. We are out here in Las Vegas and all over the country. We are doing our thing. We appreciate everybody. Appreciate our support.
Yes.
And this wraps up another episode. We love y'all, and we will see y'all soon.
Yes.
Catch y'all next episode.
See ya.
Love it.
Watch how we flipping it. Watch how we living it. Watch how we winning it. Watch. Yeah. Watch. Yeah. Watch. Yeah, yeah.